welcome to another memory card video, or I guess live stream, whatever I decide to do with this. It's a pretty impromptu one too. So earlier today I put out a video on a little game called Guruman. I was pretty disappointed by that video. I think it's one of the worst videos I've ever made, mostly because I just sounded so miserable in it. Like, I'll talk about games that I dislike. I don't want to just talk about games that I have a preference for, but I don't like to come off like super bitter and old manish either. So I was kind of disappointed by that video. If you want to see it, it's still up on my second channel. I wanted to do something with it. I didn't want to just leave it nowhere. So you can watch it on my second channel if you really want to. But I'm just gonna warn you that it's not my favorite work. But as I was saying, the stream is pretty impromptu. I wasn't planning on doing it, but I want to upload something. So here's a memory card live stream or video or whatever. And at least this is on a game that I know I'll have great things to say about. I've wanted to do a memory card on Katamari Damacy. I think this one is going to be particularly interesting because I'm just going to ramble. I didn't really script out my thoughts at this one. I'm just going to try to figure out or talk to myself until I can figure out why I like this game so much. The thing about the Katamari games is there's really not a lot to them. What you're seeing right now is pretty much all there is to the Katamari games. You roll stuff up as your ball grows larger, and that's it. You just rinse and repeat. It's very repetitive, but I don't really think there's anything wrong with that simplicity either. They will give you certain missions and stuff where you have to roll up specific things. But for the most part, these games are... What the fuck? Dog! As I was saying, these games are very simple. I think anyone can pick up and play Katamari. Well, actually, maybe not. Well, I'll talk more about that in a second. But yeah, for the most part, Katamari games are easy to understand. I can say that. Anyone can get the gist of what Katamari is from just looking at the screen. Even if you've never seen it before yourself, I'm sure that you realize what's happening on screen. But this is one of those where I can just like turn my brain off and just go. It doesn't take a lot for me to get entranced in a game of Katamari. And there's not really a lot of games that I guess I feel that way for. I think The Binding of Isaac is another one. That's another game that I can just turn on and, you know, be in love with. I think the Tony Hawk Underground games are a good case of that as well. But yeah, Katamari really is like, when it comes to those, what would you call them? Just like comfort games. This is the one for me, Katamari. But as I was saying, the stream is kind of for me to figure out why I have that comfort for this series. I guess because it's satisfying, but there are other satisfying games that, or satisfying to play games that I don't necessarily feel that same comfort with. I think Vampire Survivors is another good example. Those games are super, I won't say fun, I'll say satisfying. You know, you level up, you get your increased stats and stuff. You basically destroy all the enemies on the screen. That's another game where it's easy to turn your brain off to and, you know, just lose yourself in a level. But I can't stand looking at that game for longer than 30 seconds. It's such a visual mess, and it feels like it's addicting in all the wrong ways, you know? Like, the only types of games that I find worse to look at than Vampire Survivors is, like, gacha shit. And I haven't played through one of those in, like, months either. Excluding Pokemon Pocket, I guess. But I really only log in to get my free daily pulls, so does it really count? I guess I find Katamari more satisfying because the growth is visible, intangible, and there's also like a clear and obvious in-game insight with Katamari. You can see in the top left corner right there, they want me to reach a target size, which is doable. I can do that. They also give you a time limit. They let you know how long you can play a level for. Although you can unlock like a infinite mode on some levels and stuff. But that's besides the point. I just think it's nice when a game is respectful of your time and has clear conditions and the goal for what you're supposed to do. I think Katamari is also a unique game in how it's played. The control scheme, I think it's super unique in Katamari. You use both control sticks to move the ball around. You have to basically use them in tandem, but also move them apart from each other to like turn and stuff. It's super weird to explain. I don't think you'll truly get it until you play the game yourself, but feels super intuitive, feels super understandable once you actually play through the game. You can also do neat stuff like, give me some space. If you move both sticks back and forth real fast like that, you can go faster. You can also like jump on the other side of the ball if you click both sticks down. The Katamari games are fun to play on more than just like a visual level, I guess. And you know, the more I do videos on my channel, the more and more I realize I have an appreciation for the unique, just games that do something different. Not too long ago, I put out a video on Lifeline, and that's a game that's entirely, not entirely, but almost entirely voice controlled. Before that, I talked about Quaidon, which is a survival horror with some point and click elements. I thought not enough, but you know, that's still, you don't see games like that very often. Like point and clicks on consoles, which I've also talked about in my Aconcagua video. That's a PlayStation point and click. I actually don't know if I'm gonna beat this level. I'm too focused on talking while playing. We'll see. Yeah, what was I talking about? Unique games. I also did Moon Remix RPG Adventure, and I think that game basically birthed its own little genre. Speaking of which, Parappa as well. I did a video on that series. I did multiple videos on the Parappa series, and those basically started rhythm games, depending on whether or not you count the weird one where you use your tennis racket. It's a weird game. But also, this kind of goes back to Gurumin. So for those of you who don't know, that game is a complete rarity. I've talked about this in the video, if you want to see it. But yeah, it's unique in that it's a Japanese platformer that was released exclusively on PC. It did come to the PSP and 3DS, but you know, you don't see a lot of 3D platformers on PC, at least before the days of sites like, you know, itch.io and stuff. That's not even the most unique part of the game. You can play it entirely with your mouse if you like to. Not entirely, there are some points where you'll have to use the keyboard, but you can play it mostly with your mouse. And yeah, that was disappointing about Gurumin. I really wanted to like that game, but I couldn't get into it like I wanted to. Dude, I have 3 minutes to do this. I don't know if I'm gonna do this. I might have to restart this level. I'm down 9 meters. You know what? We're gonna restart. Yeah, this is actually a new save file that I started not too long ago. Still getting into like the groove of things here, but making good progress, I think. What was I talking about? Gurumin? Basically, I wanted to give that game a chance because it's super novel. It's such a cool and unique idea to have a PC platformer that you control with the mouse, but I guess if you want to hear my full thoughts on it, you can just watch that video. I go into things more in depth there and why I didn't really care for it, and why this stream is even happening right now. Back on Katamari though, I think it's a unique thing, a unique love that I have for this game. Because I usually, you know, if you ask anyone else their favorite games that they like to return to, or you yourself, you know, when you think about games that you returning to, it's probably games that you grew up with, right? Games that you have nostalgia for. But I don't really have that with the Katamari series, because I didn't grow up with the Katamari games. I had mostly Xbox and Nintendo consoles growing up, and these games were always PlayStation exclusive. Not always. There was one Katamari game on 360, I think, and they also came to mobile at one point, but for the most part they were PlayStation exclusive. So I didn't really get to grow up with the Katamari series. I think what I did last time was I was too focused on collecting everything, but the strategy really is you just move and collect as you go. Don't try to focus too much on one individual thing. You'll if you're playing the game well, you'll be able to come back and get it eventually. But yeah, I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the Katamari games, but I still find them super comforting. I still find them super familiar, just because I've played this game in particular so much. As I just said, I'm playing a new save here, but I still play through my share of Katamari, trust me. I don't know, I'm trying to think of other things that just attracts me to Katamari so much. I like the absurdity of it all. I mean, it's no secret that I like surreal and abstract things. Stuff that forces you to like draw your own conclusions. I think you get that with Katamari to some degree. I mean, look at how out there this game is. We're a little prince rolling around a sticky ball that's just collecting random stuff and people. But yeah, I'm getting too stuck up in one area again. I think a lot of people look at the Katamari series and think like the haha funny Japanese game, which sure, that's fair actually. I'm pretty sure Kato Takahashi, or whatever his name is, I'm sorry if I said it wrong. I'm pretty sure the creator of Katamari said he's created these games because he wanted to do something silly and like whimsical, which I mean, he achieved here. So it's not wrong to look at these games and point out how absurd they are. I don't think you're in the wrong for noticing that. But I think if you want to try to take something away from Katamari, you can do that as well. I'm not saying it has a deep story. I'm not saying every game needs one either, but there is something here. There's a little story here to like keep the game grounded. You wouldn't be completely in the wrong if you tried to make sense of this game, is all I'm trying to say. But yeah, I want to be clear that I don't think every game needs some hidden lore with some larger plot to tie everything together. No, we're an alien space prince who rolls a sticky ball around Earth. I'm trying to think of other things that I appreciate Katamari for. I guess the music would definitely be something. I think Katamari has one of the greatest soundtracks in all of gaming, up there with like Jet Set Radio. There goes another Jet Set Radio mention. I think I'm doing a bit better this time around. I think last time we were at 3 meters at exactly 3 minutes left, so I think we'll beat that. And I mean, it is exponential. You will grow more as you make it farther into the level. So maybe I could have stuck it out, but I don't know. I just wasn't feeling that. Yeah, I love the soundtrack. I return to it often. I didn't mention it yet, but I like the visual design of these games a lot as well. I got a royal present. I like how everything's low poly, and I mean, I guess it has to be, obviously, if you're gonna include this many interactable like objects and stuff, you're gonna be able to roll everything up. This game has a very unique look that I don't think you see a lot in other places. We're really starting to pick things up now. Look at this. And those sumos. Is that... Oh my god. I thought that was Ooh La La. Am I hope I'm not the only one who thought that was Ooh La La. This actually... I think this song could be remixed into something that would fit in a Space Channel 5 game. Kinda has like that loungy sound to it. I guess I'll say some closing thoughts because this level's almost over. We only have 2 minutes left. This was a bit of a different memory card, just a rambling stream. If you guys enjoy it, I'll do more. If not, I'll shut up. I won't speak live anymore. I'll just do everything scripted from now on. But I guess I said most of everything of what I wanted to say. Just got my thoughts out on why I enjoy the Katamari games so much. Like, the games are super simple. The Katamari series is super simple. But I think I'm stuck. But there's a lot that I think you can get out of them as well. Like, if you want a series to obsess over, Katamari series is there for you. There's a bunch of these games to discover. They have like hidden secrets and stuff. You can, as like you saw earlier, I got that royal present. You see my prince has headphones on in the bottom right. I added those to his character. Yeah, there's like infinite modes and stuff once you get far enough. So these games have a bunch of replayability as well. You are pretty much doing the same thing over and over. Like I said, it's incredibly simple. But yeah, you can come away from the Katamari series with a lot for as simple a concept as it is. Maybe that's why I appreciate these games so much. There's a royal present. Got a guitar. There it is. We created a star from all that junk. But yeah, here's the story, as I was saying earlier. Usually after every level, you get a bit of this. But yeah, there you have it. the Katamari memory card. I don't know if I'll ever do it alive again, but I needed something out, so you got a video of me rambling. Very, very stream of consciousness here. Just me going and going and going and going. But okay, I'm done.